are these people?
We're getting to fuck Israel part. All right, let's go. I don't like doing this, and they keep making me do this every week. And I have to read fucking headlines like this. All right, I'm sorry, everyone. Israel wiped out at least 1,200 entire families in Gaza, analysis finds. And this comes from Indie Media Award honoree Sharon Zhang over at Truthout. Indie, we're going to the best. There are also at least 3,400 families with only one surviving member. So 1,200 families wiped out, 3,400 families with one surviving member. Who knows what kind of condition they're in and how long they're going to last with no one else in their family to take care of them or look out for them. Look at this. This is what they're dealing with. Like, for real. Amir Hassan al-Shafi eats an iftar meal, the breaking of the fast, okay, with family in their destroyed house amid the rubble of buildings in Beit Lahia, okay, in the northern Gaza Strip on March 4th during Ramadan. Just look at that. Awful. Like, just fucking Trump, Biden, Netanyahu, fuck them all. They're just monsters. Okay. The Israeli military completely wiped out at least 1,200 Palestinian families in Gaza in its genocide, a new analysis finds, shedding more light on the staggering and permanent toll of Israel's extermination campaign. And it's even more than that, but that's only the ones that they've counted so far. A Reuters analysis of data, so it definitely was whitewashed heavily because it came from Reuters, and they are huge Israel apologists. Came from the Gaza Health Ministry. I don't even know how there is a Gaza Health Ministry at this point, but I guess there is somehow. But they found at least 1,238 families defined as married couples, and any children they may have were totally erased with no survivors. That's not a war crime or anything, is it, Reef?
No, speaking of, make me big. Make me big.
Go.
Do the embiggening. This was also the Ramadan eating meal in Gaza. So, I mean, you're like just amongst the rubble. Like,
wow.
Anyway, you just went along with that other picture you showed.
Yeah. Okay. Families with between 5 and 9 members make up roughly a third of the families wiped out. In at least one case, Israeli forces massacred every member of a family of 14. Further, almost a quarter of Palestinians in the official death toll of over 48,000 people were 12 years old or younger, while nearly a third were under 18, the report found. Like we said, they are killing children. Who have been under occupation their entire fucking lives, that never voted for Hamas or anyone for that matter, because they're children. There are roughly 8,000 people in the death tally for whom there is no identifying information like age or gender because they were vaporized.
They literally had to start weighing like amounts of body parts to find an average. That's how things were working then.
Over 2,200.
It's like a human child is, 40 pounds or whatever. So you just find that amount of body parts and that's it. Fucking wild. Like
over 2,200 in the official death toll were under 2 years old when they were slaughtered by Israeli forces, the analysis found. Slaughtered. Remember that word. Slaughtered.
Yep.
Not just Israeli forces, American bombs. It's possible that even more families were wiped out in the genocide, as experts have repeatedly stressed that the true death toll is far higher than the official count. The analysis roughly lines up with that of Gaza health officials who reported late last year that Israel had caused over 1,400 families to be wiped from the civil registry. Further, officials found that there were at least 3,400 families who had lost all but one member to Israeli attacks. So this tracks, except that it shows no acceleration of any of that since then, and there's been very little ceasefire, even when they have a ceasefire in place. Yeah, I don't buy it.
Mm-hmm.
This is the experience of 13-year-old Mohammed Al-Agha. Reuters documented Agha lost both his parents, his brother, and two sisters aged 11, 10, and 8 during the genocide. Palestinian father Abdel Salam al-Banah, the publication documented, is the only surviving member of his family unit. His 9-year-old daughter, his 5-year-old son, and his wife were killed in an Israeli airstrike on their apartment building on December 15th, 2023. Imagine having to fucking go on knowing that these fuckers murdered everyone in your family. What would you want to do?
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
He spent a week surviving under the rubble of the building himself, he said. He and two of his in-laws found their way out from dark ruins after feeling an air pocket, but the bodies of his wife and children are still buried under there, with Israel blocking heavy equipment, of course, from entering Gaza. He said, nothing's more painful than this. I can't put them to rest. But they're only going to... I don't even want to... Because he and other members of his family escaped from the rubble, Bana was able to report the deaths of his wife and children to health officials and therefore have their deaths tallied in the toll. But officials estimate that there are at least 14,000 people whose bodies are still stuck under the rubble and are excluded from the death toll. Last month, the Gaza Government Information Office said that officials believe that those deaths included that the true death toll from Israeli attacks is at least 61,709 people, which we also believe is still severely undercounting. Support Truthout. That's Sharon. Again, Sharon's an indie media award honoree, and we only go to people that we actually really trust what they say on this one. I trust Andre Damon over at World Socialist website enough on this one because, again, kind of like we were talking about uppers. We were talking about with Oz earlier before the show Dragnet. You're getting inside look at Reef's house right now.
Yes.
Just the facts, ma'am. Israel is blocking entry of food into Gaza and plans to cut the power and water. And this was, again, 6 days ago, March 3rd. There is a line of trucks.
You've been smoking marijuana?
Me? No. Maybe.
You come with Dragnet? What?
Trucks line up at the Egyptian side of the Rafah border crossing between Egypt and the Gaza Strip, and after Israel blocked the entry of aid trucks into Gaza on Sunday, March 2nd. That was the last time we were live.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been reporting on a lot of this stuff for a while. The office of Netanyahu announced Sunday that Israel has blocked all food shipments into Gaza, aiming to starve the population into submission and ethnically cleanse the enclave. That's not a war crime, is it, Reef?
Netanyahu?
Is that a war crime? Refresh my memory.
Fuck you.
Right. So that's a yes.
Yeah.
Anna Mayer says we should all watch Jones Plantation together. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've seen that.
Sure. Right. You hurt my family, I'll kill you with my bare hands. Well, that's in a movie. Yes. So again, we've decided to block all entry of goods. This is from Netanyahu himself. I'm not this isn't Hamas saying this. This isn't anybody else. This is directly out of the douchebag's mouth himself. before a cabinet meeting. No trucks entered Gaza this morning, nor will they at this stage, because Trump and Miriam Adelson gave them permission. As if Miriam Adelson can give Trump permission, and Trump can give Netanyahu permission to do whatever the fuck they're doing.
And the best part of this plan is, no one can stop me.
The White House endorsed Israel's policy of mass starvation, because of course they did. Israel has negotiated in good faith since the beginning of the Trump administration to ensure the release of, how are they saying this with a straight face, of hostages held captive by Hamas terrorists.
What did he say?
We will support their decision on next steps, given Hamas has indicated it is no longer interested in a negotiated ceasefire. So you mean exactly what we called 6 weeks ago when they announced this quote-unquote ceasefire, that Trump will try to negotiate directly, which he tried to this week, declare that a failure and say, well, Bibi, we tried, good faith, you got to take care of it, go finish the job, take care of the problem. Yeah.
I am altering the deal. Pray
it was the most obvious shit ever that it was going to go down that way, and it's just awful that people didn't see it, or, I mean, look, what were we going to do about it other than not vote for either one of the fucking warmongering imperialists that were going to continue this shit, which is what all of us did.
Bye-bye, Israel!
They keep expanding into Syria. They've stolen half of Syria. They keep expanding into Lebanon. I wouldn't say bye-bye. I mean, I don't know who's gonna stop them, because nobody stopped them yet. The announcement, of course, came after the lapse of phase 1 of the ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Netanyahu government has reneged on its commitment to begin phase 2 and has insisted on demanding the release of more hostages before continuing phase 1. In reality, of course, Israel's refusal to uphold the ceasefire agreement is a calculated provocation aimed at creating the conditions for mass starvation of the people in Gaza in order to forcibly displace them and seize their land. Amen, Andre Damon. You got that right.
I don't care.
Last month, Trump declared that the United States supported the ethnic cleansing of Gaza, a policy previously proposed by sections of the Israeli government. In announcing...
Mom, I'm sorry.
No, he's not. They're going to name it after him. He's not sorry.
No.
In announcing...
You can do it, baby.
In announcing the blockade, Netanyahu's office warned, quote, if Hamas continues its refusal, there will be further consequences. The Israeli newspaper Israel Hayom, that's today, reported that the government is preparing to enforce a total blockade of food and water into Gaza. And of course, if they blockade electricity, that also stops any electrical and water processing plants, salination, desalination, and they get no potable water. Israel's Channel 14 reported that the energy minister Eli Cohen is planning to propose shutting off Gaza's electricity supply at the next Israeli cabinet meeting. Israel's blockade of food...
AKA siege warfare, which is... The survey says...
Ding, 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 ding. Israel's blockade of food aid to Gaza is a war crime and a crime against humanity. Just add another charge to the pile at the ICJ that they won't do anything about. Oxfam condemned the move in a statement, a strongly worded letter, calling it a reckless act of collective punishment explicitly prohibited under international humanitarian law, of which we will do absolutely nothing.
How dare you? How dare you?
Sure. UN Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs Tom Fletcher condemned the move in a post on Twitter, declaring, quote, Israel's decision to halt aid into Gaza is alarming. International humanitarian law is clear. We must be allowed to deliver vital life-saving aid. Or else what? Or else what?
Right.
In a statement, Doctors Without Borders spokesperson Caroline Seguin said, quote, Israel is once again blocking an entire population from receiving aid, using it as a bargaining chip. This is unacceptable, outrageous, and will have devastating consequences. Which is exactly what they intend. No, the devastating consequences are that
Yes.
the Palestinians will be murdered.
Yeah.
That's the devastating
Right.
consequences, not that there will
Zero
be
consequences for Israel doing it.
Right. Kenneth Roth, former head of Human Rights Watch, said that Israel has an absolute duty under the Geneva Conventions to allow food to at least enter Gaza. No, they have a responsibility as an occupying force to provide nourishment and water.
Yeah.
Avocados from Mexico.
That would be nice. They'd probably send them.
Yeah, but we're going to tariff them first. Don't worry about it.
Quote, Israel's latest threat to cut off all aid is a resumption of the war crimes starvation strategy that led to war crimes charges against Netanyahu at the ICC to begin with. Of course. The entire population of Gaza is suffering from food insecurity, at minimum, due to Israel's deliberate blockade of aid. In December, the UN estimated that over 19,000 children had been hospitalized for acute malnutrition in just 4 months. We saw the videos of literal children that were just skin and bones that literally died of starvation. They were starved to death by Israel. Last month, health officials in Gaza reported that 6 babies froze to death in a 2-week period due to widespread lack of fuel to counter freezing temperatures. Again, they were on the aid trucks. Israel stopped the aid trucks. There were tents. There were blankets. There was fuel. There were ways to keep people warm there. There were jackets. There was clothing, diapers, medical supplies. Meanwhile, back at the Hall of Injustice, the United States is Go ahead. Is escalating its.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
That's pretty accurate because the United States is escalating its military support for Israel. Thanks so much. On Friday, the U.S. State Department announced that Secretary of State Little Marco Rubio had invoked emergency authorities, quote unquote, to send an additional $4 billion in weapons to Israel. Sure. Nobody's mad about that. State Department said the U.S. would, quote, continue to use all available tools to fulfill America's long-standing commitment to Israel's security and Norman Bremen's orders. Thanks, Marco. Including means to counter security threats. We all know who Marco answers to. It's the reason why he has that job. The package includes a variety of potential weapons, with reports indicating that over 35,000 2,000-pound bombs could be sent. Because you need that.
Phrasing?
35,000 2,000-pound bombs. What the fuck? Why are they dropping 35,000 bombs on a tiny little strip of land that over 1 million people allegedly still live at? And we're sending it there for them to do it. Nothing to see here. Okay? Those are also, by the way, war crimes. Each of these bombs is capable of leveling an entire city block. So I guess this is for the West Bank. The Biden administration sent Israel at least 14,000 of these bombs, which Israel used alongside other U.S.-provided weapons to destroy most of the structures in Gaza. Like I said, next is going to be for the West Bank. Responding to the announcement, Netanyahu praised Trump. Of course he did, because monsters praise monsters, saying, quote, Donald Trump is the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House. Jesus. George W. Bush is really bad about that statement, because he certainly licked Netanyahu's boots really hard. And so did Joe Biden. He's shown it by sending us all the munitions that were being held up. This way, he's giving Israel the tools we need to finish the job against Iran's terror access. So he's already setting up for the Iran war that's coming. And yes, he's leading us into war with Iran, if you didn't already. All right. Israel has a right to defend itself. No, they don't. According to Gaza's health ministry, again, 46,565 Palestinians have been killed and over 109,000 injured since the start of the Gaza genocide on October 8th, 2023. I don't believe that Israel actually responded the evening of the 7th. I could be wrong, but I don't think they did. Gaza's government media office puts the death toll at over 61,000, including the thousands of Palestinians missing and believed to be buried under rubble. Real death toll, including those who've starved to death and succumbed to diseases, of course, far higher. And that's World Socialist website reporting on Israel's war crimes this week. But we got more, folks.
Up in the sky! Look! It's a plane! It's a plane! It's Superman!
Independent journalist Sana Saeed, I like her a lot. She was with Al Jazeera for a while. Earlier today, Israeli forces, and this was March 7th. So this was literally Friday night. She posted this. Earlier today, Israeli forces raided and set fire to a mosque in Nablus. Again, they raided and set fire to a mosque in Nablus, the occupied West Bank. How many headlines did you see about this? Attacks on Muslim? None. Attacks on Muslim places of worship in particular have been a mainstay of Israeli violence well before October 2023. The reason we keep hearing nonstop about anti-Semitism is not just to justify the extermination of Arabs and Muslims, but also so we don't start dissecting the actual racism, which is a structure, not a slur or a feeling, at the heart of the U.S.-backed Israeli occupation of Palestinians. And here are some of the photos of the burned down mosque.
Jesus, what is that, Chernobyl? Holy shit.
No, they raided it, and then they literally set fire to the place inside.
No, I know. Tell me that doesn't look exactly like abandoned shit in Chernobyl. That's fucking awful.
Yeah.
That was a mosque. Look, there's stained glass back there. I'm sure that was gorgeous.
Yep.
You know? Like, they take care of their shit. Ugh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, how many headlines?
Fucking assholes.
Tagging all the Indonesian outlets. So they also burned and destroyed a mosque. And then finally, more in the war crimes.
Mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
The fourth Israeli war crime I'm reporting on this week was another article from Sharon Zhang over at Truthout. She seems to be really good at reporting on these. The headline, I couldn't even believe. I'm like, I have to bring this. I don't want to, but I have to, because people aren't talking about this nearly enough. Israel detains 14-year-old Palestinian boy from West Bank without charges. And we've talked about the number of children being detained without charges, and already that Israel has detained a record number. But these are children. These are children, folks. Children. The children's rights group. Children. Sorry, children.
The children are future.
Where's that sorry, children? Because literally we need to be apologizing to
children.
Thank you. The Children's Rights Group has said that this is the youngest person Israel has held without charges on record. So they're breaking new records and breaking new ground, as always. Good job, Israel.
And those are amazing looking brand new American rifles and brand new, extremely expensive binoc phosphorus night vision goggles.
And what about the tank behind it?
That too. That's also pretty expensive. But that's probably Israeli made. That's Merkava, I'm betting.
Yep.
Might be. That doesn't look like a tank. It looks like ATV. But ATC,
They're Aton. It's an Aton. They guard Aton armored vehicles during a military occupation in Nablus. They need to guard their machines.
ATC.
While they're destroying the houses, okay? The Israeli army.
Little red triangles show up above them.
Remember, we're under ceasefire here on March 4th. The Israeli army killed 2 Palestinians in the eastern neighborhood of Jenin using armored vehicles and drones in the operation. They also burned 2 houses and destroyed another during the military operation. Okay.
Yeah.
Ceasefire. Quote. Now, this is Sharon Zhang again, Indie Media Award honoree over at Truthout, also Indie Media Award honoree. Although Truthout has been really shit-libby. Truthout and Common Dreams have been super disappointing. I mean, just nonstop TDS. Calling that out, man, it's terrible. Like, be more objective, okay? A lot of you were not nearly as hard on the Biden administration about this stuff, and I'll be the first to say that, you know. And I put these outlets as Indie Media Award honorees because I do think they still put out a lot of good stuff, but man, it's getting hard to defend the amount of simping that they still do for Democrats. They're still just hoping that the Democrats will finally turn it around and represent us. But we know that's never going to happen. Not until we get the money out. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen. So again, Israeli forces abducted a 14-year-old boy from the occupied West Bank last month and are imprisoning him without charges, making him the youngest Palestinian child on record to be placed under Israeli administrative detention order, a rights group says. DCIP, and they literally have to have an organization called the Defense for Children International of Palestine, just for the Palestinian children, because there are so many, reports that Israeli forces seized Muin Ghassan Fahid Salhat from his home in the West Bank town of Beit Fajar in the middle of the night on February 19th. The 9th grade boy has been issued a 4-month order for administrative detention, a practice in which Israeli forces hold Palestinians without charges or trial based on secret evidence not provided to the detainee or their lawyer, if they even have
You
one.
let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up.
Israeli soldiers forcibly entered the boy's home at 3:40 in the morning and detained his father, blindfolding him, tying his hands behind his back. Soldiers similarly detained Muin when the young boy awoke and went to look for his father. The soldiers ransacked their belongings, the report says, and confiscated their phones and computer because they're thieves and scumbags. Soldiers then took the boy away and ordered his father not to move for 10 minutes, according to DCIP. That's what terrorists and hostages do. Don't move for 10 minutes or we'll murder your kid. The family was not given a warrant for the raid. No, they just walked in and took him at 3:40 in the fucking morning while everyone was sleeping. Quote, administrative detention violates fundamental due process rights, yet Israeli forces are now expanding this draconian policy to detain Palestinian children indefinitely without charge or trial, said Aid Abu Ekitash, Accountability Program Director for DCIP. Muin's case sets a dangerous precedent showing that no Palestinian child, regardless of age, is safe from arbitrary imprisonment under Israel's military rule. And Netanyahu just got a boner. Sorry, everyone.
Sorry, children.
Muin is one of 112 Palestinian children held in administrative detention by Israel, according to the information provided by the Israeli Prison Service. This is not fake news. This is not Palestinian propaganda. This is not Pallywood. This is the Israeli Prison Service. They're proud of imprisoning 112 children.
This is the same prison service where people protested for their rights to rape
Male prisoners. That's right. Their rights to rape male prisoners with metal rods.
I wish I was kidding.
Yes.
At this point, Israel's continued existence is a mockery of morality.
Your continued existence is a mockery of morality.
This is the highest number of children held in administrative detention on record since DCIP began monitoring the practice in 2008, the group has reported. 17 years. So tell me that they haven't escalated at all. Okay, and again, they're still using October 7th and the hostages, of which we know Hannibal Directive. We know that the families of the hostages are ready to sue the Israeli government because they've tried not to get them back, and they've used this as justification for all of this crap and bombing every day people that aren't firing back at them. Like, have we heard of any rockets being sent from Gaza or anywhere toward Israel in weeks? In when? But yet the bombs continue to fall. And now they've violated the ceasefire again, but not from Gaza. It's coming from Israel again. I think I read somewhere 192 violations or something like that, or 92 violations of the ceasefire already documented. They don't give a shit. Nothing's going to happen to them. The figure has rapidly increased as Israel's genocide in Gaza has continued. As of April of last year, for instance, Israel was holding 61 Palestinian in administrative detention, DCIP recorded, which then was also a record high at the time. Now it's double that. The group says that Israel's continued use of administrative detention against Palestinians is, of course, a violation of human rights. Yay. It's a strongly worded letter.
Is that amnesty?
No,
amnesty,
it's
dude.
DCIP. All right.
Okay.
Israel's routine use
sounds like an amnesty statement.
Nope.
You know?
Israel's routine use of administrative detention against Palestinians, including children, constitutes arbitrary detention and violates international human rights law, of which they're apparently not subject to, but okay. Additionally, the Fourth Geneva Convention strictly prohibits an occupying power from forcibly transferring or unlawfully imprisoning protected persons, making once again Israel's practice a clear breach of its legal obligations, the group said. War crimes is the easier way to say that. Israel's practices regarding Palestinian prisoners have only gotten more strict amid Israel's genocide in Gaza, with Israel making it even harder for detainees to access legal representation. Many children in administrative detention go weeks without being granted access to a lawyer, DCIP said. Completely part of the plan. What are you going to do about it? The group added that Israel is unique in its harsh prosecution of Palestinian children. No surprise there. Quote, Israel has the dubious distinction of being the only country in the world that systematically prosecutes between 500 and 700 children in military courts each year, while systematically stripping away the fundamental right to a fair trial right. That's what they do. And again, they're, like I said, Truthout is shit libby for sure, and we're resisting Trump's authoritarian pressure. By writing about it, I guess that's what they do. By screaming with their hair on fire and fear-mongering and hoping the Democrats are going to be the solution ain't the answer. And of course, they're on Blue Sky too, or Blue Cry. So,
Yay.
So fuck Israel. Like I said, this was the conclusion of the fuck Israel portion of the program. If you are able and of means, please support the networks and support the independent media that you want to see. The best ways to do that are via Cash App, $, Indie News Network, ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, and paypal.me/Indie News Network. You can sign up for newsletters and alerts at innnewsletter.com, and that's totally free. You can also support with an annual or monthly contribution there, too. Support independent media because we need it more than ever, fam.
Bye, have a great time.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.